We are live, guys. We are back once again with podcast number 25. Can't believe we've been this. We're already. I can't believe we're been at this far already with 25 done already. How do you feel about that, Joe?
Yeah, I hear an echo. But maybe that's me watching the YouTube. That's sorry about that. Yeah, guys, it's pretty nuts. We're deciding to use StreamYards this week, so you can see that we're like quote not sponsored, but you get the free version here. But yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, I'm just very exhausted this week.
That's cool, Joe. You'll get through this podcast easy. It's not too hard.
Yeah. How about you, Renee? Are you global problem fatigued, as they say?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, I am. And just trying to come up with trying to get up so many topics and doing personal life and this YouTube together, and also trying and reading these fan mails that people are starting to send us, right, Joe?
Yeah. People are starting to send them to our inboxes. We have one from Jennifer who was asking, why is it so hard for people to enter your giveaway? She said, like, I'm serious. She's like, everybody just keeps asking this question, like, how do you enter? So Jennifer, I have to say, it's probably because they're trying to enter in on a mobile phone instead of their desktop or their laptop. For some reason, Gleam has a trouble with that. So you got to make sure desktop or laptop is the easiest way to enter that giveaway.
Interesting. I'm probably gonna push out your giveaway more on my Twitter. I haven't done that yet, so sorry, Joe.
That's okay. That's okay. People are finding it. I'm promoting it.
Well, besides all that stuff, glad to hear Jennifer's having little issues, but we're going to go ahead and help her out and make sure she can actually do it. Like Joe just said, follow those instructions that Joe just gave, and we'll further help you out. If you have any other questions, Jennifer, feel free to actually comment down below and we'll help you out more further. Right, Joe?
Yep. Sounds good.
And so we're going to enter our first topic is about, what was the first topic? On Windows 10 tips and tricks, Joe. Like when you read this whole article and the tips trick, what did you think of that? Because this is amazing, the secret start menu, screenshots, and much, much more. What did you find out? What did you learn anything on these top tips and tricks?
Yeah, some of them, they're just not as exciting for me, but some of them were pretty cool. I know there's the one that I guess it doesn't really solve a lot of your problems, but maybe it like doesn't use as many resources. Let's say you had like a lot of clutter on your screen. You could take, so if you have like your browser and there's a little bit of space between like the plus new tab and your search bar, you put your cursor right there, left click, and then you shake it either left or up and down, and all your other windows that are open, like let's say you have OBS or Steam or something, they'll all close and you'll only have your one window for your whatever you're shaking.
Interesting, Joe. You didn't know about that?
No, I didn't know about that. So I guess it's a way of easily like getting rid of your your hoarding mess, and then you're like, okay, now I can focus in on this one window and I can figure out what to get rid of in that window as well.
You know that you could actually click on the top and you swipe it to the top and you hit it on the top and it maximizes the screen, correct? You know that, right?
Oh yeah, I know that. If you double click,
or if you just tap it on the top screen, it'll actually make it bigger for you.
Yeah. No, I know that one. I just didn't know that you could do this. It's wax on, wax off.
Oh, man,
that's pretty cool, right? It's like just wipe it away. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Correct. I do like that feature. So what else did you learn, Joe? Like, tell us a little bit more about your little search on this trend.
Well, there's also the secret start menu, I guess. If you click Windows key and you touch that and then you click X, it'll just pop up in the left bottom corner. And then there's a whole bunch of things that you normally would do if you did like Control Alt Delete. So you get like device manager and a whole bunch of other stuff. So like apps and features, power, events, disk management. So there might be some function for that if you like a very cut down version of the start menu.
Interesting.
It's like everything's like condensed, and you can like see some like probably like 20 things in like very concrete.
And that's the one you're saying you actually go on, you right click that little Windows icon, right? On with the one you left click, and it will open up the whole menu. So if you right click it, it'll show up a little condensed menu, correct?
No, so if you click the start, you see all the other different things like, settings, power, you have like the Microsoft apps. But if you touch on your keyboard, sorry, you do the Windows key and then you press X. You do it at the same time. You hold the Windows key down and click X. Then you see this gray bar, or for me it's gray because I have dark mode on. So it'll pop up in the left hand bottom corner.
Oh yeah, that's the same menu as if you were to right click on it.
Oh yeah, or if you click on the right click on the start menu.
Yeah. If you
Oh yeah, you're right.
It,
Yeah. So you found even a better shortcut is just to right click on it instead of doing Windows plus X.
Yeah, I've always right clicked it, and I've always used that menu because you have the control panel at an easier visibility right there. So what else did you learn, Joe?
So yeah, with that one, I guess you could see like everything in Windows, you can kind of like do it like 3 or 4 ways to get to the same result.
Correct.
Which was pretty cool is, you can use the, you can do a calendar. You can make an event without opening your calendar app.
Really?
So what you do, so what you do is you click on your time stamp, at the very bottom right-hand corner of your screen with like, it shows the time and the date. You click on that. And then below that, you click on the day that you want the reminder, and you touch it, and then with left click, and then you put in your event, and then it'll pop up. So I put in podcast, and then I see it whenever I look on that. Whenever I look on that day, I see there's a list of things that I have. So you don't have to go find that. You just make it simple for yourself.
I did not know that one.
Because that's always a problem. Like I never use the calendar app because you have to go searching for it. But if it's just on your menu, like on your screen, and you just have to, it's very easy.
Interesting, Joe.
I'm glad they did that. Another one is, people probably know, like take a screenshot, the Windows key and the print screen key. So you click your Windows button, and then you look on your keyboard for the print screen, and you touch those at the same time. And you can find that in your pictures folder, and then it'll have like a subfolder called the screenshots folder, and you go there.
How do you get there again?
You go, to either Windows or you can click on the very bottom. I have like a shortcut for like documents, and then you would go to under this PC, you click pictures, and then one of the subfolders is screenshots.
Interesting.
So that one will always be there, and then yeah. So it's pretty interesting. I have 3 monitors, and so I took a screenshot, and it took a screenshot of all 3 monitors and put it into one picture. So that's pretty interesting. So if you have like when you do multiple monitors, you have them like up here or here or wherever, so that you can choose where the path of the mouse is to go on all 3 monitors. So it took the picture of all 3 screens in that order.
That's interesting, Joe.
So I had my third screen here, my second screen up above me, and then so like it took a picture in that exact order. So all 3 of my screens were screenshotted, which is pretty cool for technical support.
Yeah, that is so interesting.
Like that's awesome. I never would have known you could know that.
Yeah, neither did I. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that one completely at all. What else did you learn? Was that the last one, or was there still more to go?
Oh no, there's a lot more. Some of them. Well, let's see. The other one wasn't that interesting for me. Like you can open items in your taskbar with keyboard shortcuts. You do the Windows key plus the number key, like +2, and you open like the second item on the taskbar. So I guess that one could be interesting, but I don't really know. Like the taskbar, I guess is that like the Control Alt Delete?
Yeah.
And so I have 6 apps open. So I guess if I pressed the Windows key plus the number key, it would go to like the third one that's open, but I don't even know which one the third one is. So I guess I'm just clicking around on my number key, like 1, 2, 3, and I can find all the apps that I would see on the very bottom of my screen anyway.
Interesting. That's something that I'm going to have to learn how to use.
Yeah. Then there's just shows you how much like space your apps are taking up. Just like I guess little easier for you, I guess, you go to settings, and then you go to system, and then you go to storage, and it'll show you how much gigabytes or all they're using. That kind of stuff I've already seen before, but I'm not really sure exactly how that's new. You can also get rid of ads in your start menu.
How do you do that? Like, that's a very interesting one. I'm always running into ads. I don't know how to get rid of that.
You go to settings, and then you go to the personalization tab, and then you go to start, and then you can toggle that off. It's just like toggle the setting called show suggestions occasionally in start to the off position, and then that'll get rid of a lot of the ads.
Interesting.
So
I'll definitely do that later today.
Yeah, if you got Windows 10 for free and the agreement is that you get ads, then that's one way. Kind of like negate. Another one I thought was actually, this one was really useful for me. You can shut down background apps. Because there's some background apps that I didn't know that were running that I got rid of. Like you don't need like the calculator running in the background, or like the calendar, or like you don't need like I don't need the weather in the background.
Yeah, you don't.
If I just want to like find the weather, I can look that up and then activate it at that time.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know, like if I'm playing a game or I'm live streaming, I'm not sure if the weather is constantly updating while I'm using it, and so that could use a decent amount of resources to have all these apps like downloading an update when you don't want it.
Yeah, definitely.
Another one is background scrolling.
What is that?
That one I didn't really experiment with a lot. But it says you can go into Windows 10. You can scroll up and down any window. You go to settings, devices, mouse, and then you toggle the scroll inactive windows when I hover over them to on. And yeah, so maybe somebody can use that. I'm not exactly sure. Do you know what? If you read that, do you know what that means? Like
How
that one was a little bit confusing to me. But again, you can find these, these on the internet. Just look up like the most recent shortcuts that Windows is doing.
Yeah, the last one is the file extension in the file browser.
Yeah,
that one. I don't know if you know how to do that one, Herdy.
No, that one I didn't experiment with.
That one just shows if it's a JPEG, a DOC for document, DOCX for Office 2010 document, stuff like that. Not many people need that option. Yeah. You really don't need that option, so we could skip that one. I'm looking at the article right now.
Yeah, and then the the focus assess. Oh dang it! I'm sorry, I forgot what that one does actually.
Holy cow!
But it's okay. I know that. Okay, so that one is basically like like you can make it so that Windows doesn't give you tons of like system notifications, so you can put a priority as to what kind of updates you want. What do you want to be told about? So you go to settings, then you go to system, then you go to focus assist, and there's 3 options. You can do off, so you get no notifications from any of your apps or contacts. You get priority, and you can have a priority list that you customize. And then you have alarms only.
Interesting.
So yeah, so there's some cool stuff that that Windows has put in so that you can do some shortcuts.
Okay, well, so we're moving on to the Q&A. So yeah. Was there anything you want to bring onto the board, or any questions that you got, Joe, or anything you want to? Yeah,
well, John here was kind of cynical. He was wondering, like why some of these things, why Windows is like, why are they rolling them out now? Like Windows 10's been out for a while, couldn't they have done this a little faster? And I guess the argument is that, it just takes time. And a lot of these are free features. I know, like if you pay for Windows 10, right, you're paying for a new, but that's when you get any new computer, you're always paying for an operating system, right?
Yeah, I think some of these features were already on there, just nobody knew about them. They just
that was the thing. Yeah, like I guess there a lot of times like Apple tells you a lot of the things that they have done that are hidden, and Windows kind of like lets you find them on your own.
Correct. Like
And yeah,
the one that I'm pretty sure nobody really knows, it's if you hit the Windows tab. I didn't know
yeah,
if you know that. If you hit the Windows tab, you hit like a scrolling menu.
no,
Yeah, if you hit Windows tab right now, you'll see a menu pop up on your screen at the same
yeah,
time. And if you hit, I think it's Windows tab Alt, all three of them, or Alt tab, and you get
okay.
another menu.
Oh yeah, on the front of your screen in the center.
Correct. You'll see those. Not many people know about those shortcuts, like the Windows tab or the Alt tab. You'll do them at the same time. Not all three of them right now, but you hit the Windows tab, you'll get one type of menu pop up on your screen. You can actually do so many things. If you hit the Alt tab, you get a different type of layout, and you get to choose what app you want to go to. Instead of going through the bottom, you have like thousands of apps open. You can actually select here easier, all up on screen. I forgot what it's
Yeah,
called, but
yeah. And when you do, I was just thinking of some silly things I've done in the past. Is you make sure you hold down the Alt tab, like just the Alt button, and then just touch the tab button once, because like
correct.
sometimes you
Scroll.
hold the tab button down and it like keeps going back and forth between all of them. So just one time and just keep tapping them, and you'll see the cursor highlighting one.
I think you could actually use your mouse too on them. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
You can select it with your mouse.
Yeah, and it makes it kind of like full screen.
So if y'all have any other questions, feel free to ask us right now so we could actually throw out there for you guys. And we're willing to help you out to actually learn more about your Windows 10, about your Windows, about anything you want to know about the computers. We're here for you guys. Joe's a little bit more on gaming type hardware and stuff like that. I'm more very technical in the background. I have like 13 years of background. I don't know how many years Joe has on this, but he's very knowledgeable. So we got together and we actually did this together because both of our minds put together, we actually made a pretty good combination on this. Yep. It's a great combination. So go ahead and moving on to the next topic. We have Apple's new M1 chip. I heard that just got released, I think a couple of days ago, or going to be released, something like that. I heard it was good things, and I heard so many good things about it. I don't know anything bad yet. What do you know about this, Joe?
Well, what I've heard about it is, this was what we talked about several months ago about Apple choosing several years ago to go the route where they're gonna not depend on Intel for their CPUs and their GPUs, and so they're I believe it was the GPUs too. So
Correct.
so basically, we're actually kind of getting what people have been wanting for a long time, which is competition between Intel and AMD. We're always like, there's a two-party, two competitors, AMD and Intel, but and then with ARM being different, but Apple is using ARM processors in their design.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like they're like the fourth competitor. And the argument, the design is that their CPU is more, it looks like it's more energy efficient than AMD because it's on 5 nanometer, and they're still going to have like a lot of performance, but some critics were saying that like they might have sacrificed a little bit of performance this time around to really get a lot of battery life. They're going to have like insane amount of battery life, like maybe I think it was like 20 hours on some of their products, What were we saying?
Interesting. I said,
yeah.
I love Mo. 20 hours.
Yeah. When using video playback, which that's pretty intensive.
Yeah, but that's not if you're editing and stuff like that, you're still cutting that in half.
Yeah.
So regardless of that, if you're doing intensive stuff, you're still using it. I've been a Mac person at Windows, and I think this is a brilliant idea. I just kind of wonder how much is this going to affect the industry, or how is it going to change CPUs in general? Is that going to push Intel or AMD to do try to surpass this company again?
Yeah. And we've talked about it, that Apple's kind of like it has like its niche, right? It has there's a higher price tag to get involved with Apple's
Correct.
computers. And so what it's doing is it's competing with the high-end AMD, the high-end Intel, to maybe try to pull some of those people over here to say, hey, we got all these features, we're gonna have really energy efficient. And yeah, I guess I don't see, a lot of interest to like pull PC to the Apple for this. I guess it would have to be the other subset of features that Apple already exists, like a cut down interface with the cut down operating system and stability and security. So I don't think it's gonna the one thing it is gonna do is it's gonna give it's gonna put more money into Apple's pockets.
Correct,
because they're not having to outsource to Intel.
Correct. I was about to say that, outsource it.
Yeah.
To a third party.
So I think they're going to be saving I think it was like $3.5 billion or $2.9 billion, $2.9 billion that they used in 2019 for Intel processors.
So pretty much they're going to pocket more money into their pockets.
Yeah. So we're not sure exactly, think about it. You had to pay $2.9 billion. I'm not sure what the operating costs of how much Apple had to, put in, because Apple might have to spend several years to make up for this investment, right? Because they were basically, the reason why they did with Intel is because you're basically it's like renting versus buying your home.
Correct.
And so it'll take years for them to really see the huge savings, but at the same time, Apple, they have to pay more in the long run by renting Intel processors.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, hopefully you think, but it might not happen. You'd hope that after a while, if Apple can actually keep this up, because that's the pessimistic thing, that when they get to the 3rd nanometer or 3 nanometer somewhere else, right? That maybe in the future that Mac will go back to renting space from Intel.
Yeah, could be.
So how long are they going to be able to keep this up? Where they're going to make their own, they're trying to go back to independence and make their own CPUs and GPUs, is it just a short term thing, or, I don't know. What is the game plan,
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm kind of wondering.
Otherwise then it's not really worth the investment. So they must have a long-term strategy.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to be.
5 or 10 years or something.
And this is also going to let them improve their processors within themselves and actually not limit themselves. Like, what I'm talking about, Joe, right? How Intel
Microsoft
threshold. Yeah.
They won't have to deal with Windows.
Correct. And they don't have to contact Intel to actually say, hey, how do we move the threshold? We want to actually.
Oh yeah, I messed up on that. Yeah, you're right. They don't have to deal they don't have to deal with Intel's their whole the way their processors work, and they can just do everything quicker and
in-house.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I'm kind of curious on, how far is if this company's going to do it, can they do it? It's because who did I forgot what company. Was it Intel? They hired somebody from Intel. Or was it from AMD? And they brought him on board. It was 2 years ago.
Oh, Intel brought AMD for GPUs, Raja Koduri. But I think the idea about this is that there was remember the article we covered many months ago that Intel dropped the ball, that I think they didn't support something, or they were really delayed in releasing the CPUs. So that was the idea, that Apple doesn't want to have to wait on Intel to make sure that they actually keep going with the next node, because Intel was let's keep capitalizing on the 14 nanometer, and AMD and Apple wants to go on to 7 or 5. They're doing 5 now, right?
Yeah.
So they were at the mercy of Intel's refreshing of the 14 nanometer, and Apple wanted to maintain premier status and show you, hey, we have the cutting edge CPUs. We don't want to stay. We want to do some leapfrogs and go to 5 nanometer.
because I think Apple was already doing nanometers already compared when before Intel and them were doing it, because they managed to micro size computers from there, because Macs were a lot thicker back in the day. Now they're all like so thin, almost paper thin. So I'm wondering how thin are a lot of the components
Yeah.
from back in the day, because I'm pretty sure they were already using nanometers. I just don't know what size they were for the transistors and the capacitors and all that stuff on board.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the idea was that Intel let AMD catch up to them because they were a bit complacent. Maybe they were a little bit too stubborn to hold on to trying to get to 10 nanometer the way they're doing. And that's why they're like, they just didn't. Yeah, I don't know how AMD did it. But that's the idea that Apple didn't want to, let AMD catch up. They're trying to push the envelope and they want to keep going forward. And that's the argument that NVIDIA now was kind of like letting AMD catch up too, because they were trying to like do different premium products. But yeah, so Apple wants to be able to do everything by themselves and to make it as efficient as possible. And if they don't have to deal with Intel employees and Intel technology, they can know everything about it. And like, there's no like maybe hidden secrets or something, like maybe Intel was like holding back on Apple, not like giving them like everything that they had to offer and like all the tricks to get the most performance out. Right. Cause they're selling it to Apple, but they're also selling their own CPUs out there.
Correct.
So they're like a competitor, you're like depending on your competitor to not undercut you. And
correct.
I don't know, I'm not sure if there were any abilities for Intel to hold back on Apple.
Yeah, definitely. So was there any other questions, Joe, or anything? Because we're entering the Q&A right now. Any other topics or any other things that we've gotten, or emails, letters, private messages?
Yeah,
I haven't gotten any.
Oh, you haven't got any? Jessica sent something to us asking how we started the podcast.
Oh man, that's now. You want to say, Joe, or you want me to say?
Sure. I just always have had I've always loved podcasts and live streams and just like engaging with the viewers, and with the hosts, the reason why I wanted to do it is because there are some good, live streamers out there, but I think they go a little bit too negative and they're kind of like not appreciative of their audience. So I just thought like maybe I could try to compete with them and offer something that's more positive.
Correct. And it's same thing with me. I wanted to do a podcast, so I reached out to Joe, and I saw some of his videos he was doing. So I reached Joe, and didn't I reach out to you?
Yeah.
And I was like, Joe, do you want to do a podcast? He's like, oh my God, I wanted to do a podcast. I never what did you say? Like didn't have time, or you were thinking, but you didn't know how to go about it.
I was always looking for somebody to do the podcast with me. I needed a partner.
And that's pretty much how we started. And we just started off with what we had, whatever webcam I had. I had a old 1080p, like maybe 16 FPS. It really sucks. If you go back to the beginning of the podcast, my cameras were horrible, my microphones horrible. As we started progressing throughout the whole podcast, we actually have increased hardware wise. As you can see, my quality and the mic in front of me, and just several other lightings around me that have improved. Same thing with Joe. Joe's improving a lot of his stuff. It's just his taking a little bit longer on certain things.
Yeah, it was a huge learning curve to figure out how to get the podcast to be more time efficient. Like we were taking like tons of hours to get the podcast set up every weekend. And we've been trying to, not cut corners, but streamline it. And we just become more comfortable with what the technology we're using,
Yeah, we had to. And if we had issues, we wouldn't make it too obvious to you guys. We swapped between softwares, hardware so many times. Like I couldn't use my iMac anymore, so I just jumped over to my Windows PC to use it. A lot of vaccines just to make our streams much more smoother for you guys.
And yeah, so we do it for you guys, we do it for ourselves, and we love covering the latest technology. So uh yeah, so that's how we got started.
Yep. So moving on to the next topic. The next topic is very, very interesting as well, like all the other ones. Is Microsoft releases Windows 10 build 2257 with loads of important fixes. What do you know? Some of the fixes that Joe that were on there.
Um
I see the deep. They fixed up the they caught some devices to experience a DPC watchdog violation bug check in recent builds. They fixed
yeah,
that
the
issue.
deadlock is important because it's a, like unexpected CPU usage, and anything that's using too much of my CPU that I don't I want all my power. So I mean, that's good that they caught it and that people keep keep sending your feedback to Microsoft so they can keep fixing their operating system. Whenever you get a problem and you decide not to send it to Microsoft, you're just giving yourself future headaches, and everybody else will be, like
Yeah.
maybe you be the first one to catch that problem, and it takes time for them to say, "Oh, this is a priority to fix this." So whenever you have a problem and Microsoft lets you send feedback, send that in so that we can get these fixes as fast as possible.
Correct. And also too, they just fixed an issue with the resulting in File Explorer having transparent lines across the top when maximized on systems with multiple monitors. I never noticed that. Did you ever
Yeah.
notice that, Joe? You're on a tri screen, right, or a dual screen?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that lines?
No, no, I didn't see that. So, but again, I might see it in the future if they didn't fix it. So yeah, no, there is one issue that I like that they fixed here. If I look at an issue that could happen with movies and TV failing to play some HDR videos with an error, it gave you an error code. So like, that's always a pain when you're trying to watch a video and just, it won't play for some reason and you have compatibility issues or something. So, you know,
Interesting.
yeah. So there's a lot of good things, again, like the more we pay attention to it and the more we like send in our feedback reports to Microsoft, the less bugs that Windows will hopefully have.
Yeah.
So,
And also they fixed an issue resulting in recently some apps being slower to accept keystrokes into text fields. I have not noticed that. Have you seen that? Anything about that, Joe, on your side?
no, no.
I've never noticed any keystrokes slower at all. I don't know to what, if it's a business issue or a personal issue. I'm not sure, but I haven't noticed it.
I do think I've noticed this one where we're talking about, they said fix an issue that could result in not hearing audio after streaming certain content, then turning your Bluetooth headset off and back on again.
You know what? I have.
So Bluetooth has been a little bit of a problem. So I'm glad they fixed that. And hopefully we'll see, again, be quick on the replies and we can get any other Bluetooth problems fixed.
Yeah, the faster you report it, the faster they could learn about it and try to resolve something, and we could get a fix out there, not only for you, for the world. So
yeah, so there's a lot of other ones that are important for people. So if you just want, if you're nerdy and you like to look at all these different things, it's interesting to see what Microsoft's been fixing.
correct. And we're back to the YouTube Q&A again. Any other questions, anybody? Like, feel free to comment, ask questions. Don't be afraid. We're here to support you guys. We're your friends and try to help everybody out, with any questions you have. Any videos you want us to make, you can feel free to comment down below. So don't be shy. Just ask. Just ask. Okay, so we're not hearing anything from anybody. We're just going to go ahead and move on to the next topic.
Okay. Yeah. AMD's got some, well, no, some people have been doing some overclocking, that we always hear about people doing like, liquid nitrogen. And with the 5000 series, liquid nitrogen is going to always be there to see how fast you can push these processors. And this particular one is the Ryzen 9 5950X, which has 16 core processors and a single peak performance of 4.9 by default. But this overclocker called High Cookie has pushed it to 6.362 gigahertz on liquid nitrogen. So that's pretty cool. Have you ever watched any liquid nitrogen overclocking?
Nope. I don't know nothing about that. I'm like clueless. I don't know anything about liquid nitrogen. And
It's pretty interesting. So, it's obviously like just for overclocking because you have to keep pouring liquid nitrogen as you're doing it. So they pour some and they're like tweaking it and they pour a little bit more. They have to kind of like keep pouring it like every few seconds or every like 10, 15 seconds, to make sure that they watch the temperatures and you have to get a lot of experience just like playing around with it. But it's it's another like interesting thing that like people, the nerd, the enthusiasts, we're not sure because, they were able to really push the CPU like overclocking with the 2012 FX 8350. They were able to get that to 8.794 gigahertz.
damn.
Yeah, that was like kind of like 4-core, 8-core, but like yeah, there's debate about whether it was a real 8-core, but that one was able to go really high, but this one is a 16-core, so we're not sure like it. Yeah, so people have always wondered like how much wattage are they drawing when they're doing these overclocking with liquid,
I'm curious.
because it could get, I don't know. Think about it, as it keeps going up and up, it's like they're probably drawing like maybe, I don't know, like 1,000 watts, 1,500, I don't know.
I'm curious.
So if you're into watching overclockers, that's pretty cool. That
Yeah, I remember at work we had to overclock, but we never really had to do nothing with liquid nitrogen. We just did a lot of basic just overclocking. Have you ever done overclocking, Joe?
I've had bad experiences with overclocking just because I was doing it basically in like a hot bedroom.
Oh man, that's the worst thing to do.
Yeah, and even with like I upgraded my PCU to like a titanium plus, that's not enough, and you just have to have like, yeah, the bedroom was just too hot. Even if I had like water cooled, or probably, I don't know, you have to have a water cooled part, and I don't want to invest in that.
Yeah.
So it's cool, like to get the most out of it, but at the same time, like you're going to be basically, you need like a lot of expensive cooling parts, or you need to be in a like a basement.
Yeah, definitely. Or yeah, like
64 or something, 64 Fahrenheit.
Correct. I was about to say that you got to make sure you're in a cool, ventilated room, about 70 degrees or colder, just to actually be able to do that.
All the things we're talking about, like having your PC not on the floor, just all these little things.
Yeah, and it also makes sure your computer's clean and no dust free, and then make sure your cooling system is actually working properly before you're overclocking it, and make sure you understand what settings you're changing it to.
Yeah, make sure you guys clean out your PCs like every 6 months at least. Go in there and turn the PC off, and then
That's the one rule, guys. Turn off your computer before you open it. You don't want to get electrocuted and stuff like that.
Yeah, and don't mess around with the power supply too much. Just on the outside, whatever's on the outside, you can clean off.
Yeah, just wipe it down. No liquid, just a little bit of damp cloth. Just wipe it as much as you can if you can, but don't wipe the board with any chemicals. That you do not do.
Yeah,
you just use a blower.
Yeah, use an air compressor. Don't like those cans from Home Depot. They do nothing. Like buy like $150 air compressor, and then you can be really, that will last you like a lifetime basically.
I have a $30 compressor.
$30 compressor.
Electric plug into the outlet, and it's very small. I'll make a video about it, and you could actually just blow up the inside, and all the dust just comes out.
So you're saying it's like that's all you need? That's
all you need to do,
guys. I spent 5 times more than I was supposed to spend on an air compressor.
Shut the hell up, Joe.
I bought $150 one with different parts because there's like, we have this other one that's bigger that's in our garage, and it's just like, it's not fun hauling your PC into your garage to clean it up. Well, yeah,
Oh my
I'm looking forward to
God.
your video because I want to see how well that that $30 one works.
I have a video out already. If you want to go take a look at it, it's in my on my channel and on how something about overheating. I have it on there. I don't know what's the name of it, but I could probably pull it up real quick if you don't mind. Give me a couple of minutes.
And does
So
it shows the one that you used, or
it shows a little preview off of it. It's not like showing you the can. It shows a little bit off of it, but it shows you how I cleaned the PC with it and how it worked. And I remember using it. It's right here, computer overheating fix, and it shows you on there like on it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. I could show you guys real
yeah,
quick.
just getting rid of some of that dust makes a huge difference. Just
Oh man,
even if you're just keeping it, even if you're not overclocking, if you're just keeping it like the regular default, it'll keep your PC living a few more years.
correct. Every time you're letting it overheat and stuff like that, you're shortening its lifespan and all that stuff. Let me
Yeah,
see.
because like the temperatures are just going up and up and up, and you can't tell that while the computer is running. It's like it's kind of like hypertension, with the body, right? It's like high blood pressure. Like it's a silent killer. Like it's the same thing with your PC. Your PC is getting hypertension with all that dust accumulating.
Correct.
It's having to send more and more power to get the same performance.
Hold on. I'm gonna
so give your PC a health check every 6 months. Go see the doctor.
Let's see. Give me a minute. I'm pulling it up.
While you're pulling it up, I'm going to go on to the next topic.
Hold on. It's already there.
Oh, yeah.
I got it already. I'm showing it right here. Not removing it. You see all that dust right here?
Oh, is that duster?
Yeah. Look at all that. Look at all that dust. Look.
Wow.
And then this is the duster right there.
Was this your PC?
No, a client of mine was fixing it right there.
All right, let's see how much it gets rid of. Can you fast forward? Yeah, it looks pretty powerful. What about the section where all the dust was collected at the bottom?
I showed everything. See all the dust flying everywhere?
Yeah. Nice. I should have asked you before I bought my $150 one. Be like, oh yeah, hey, dude, this thing works.
Yeah, and that's not all you do.
And that's way smaller, so it's more compatible. Like,
look at that.
Portable.
You got to make sure you open up every component because you actually get dust buildup in these vents too.
Yeah, take all the plastic off the back and the front.
Yeah, and you got all that in the drives. You got back here in these area fans and in the CPU, the power supply also builds up dust over time. Even these panels, you got to make sure these panels you could wipe down and it's fine to use fluids, but using anything else, it's any of the hardware is best not to do it. It's best just to
do air.
Yeah. So now we're gonna actually move on to the next topic, like Joe was saying. And the next topic is what was
Elon Musk has he's defending his Neuralink that we've been talking about. Some neuroscientists are concerned about chips overheating in the brain.
Bro, remember we talked about that, about transmitting music and stuff like that causing damage in the brain.
We're like, EMI. Yeah, dude, like don't mess with what's not broken.
Correct. And then transmitting music to your brain and stuff like that, bro. Like, I think that's kind of crazy, but I do agree with the scientists on this. I do agree. Like,
well, yeah, it's just very interesting. Like, they're saying concerns that that you could have a buildup of plaques, and that could they could make more buildup of heat in the brain. But also, plaques are not good for the brain or anywhere in the body because that just hampers like transmission of information.
Man, you're very smart in this, Joe. You're very smart in the medical field and the tech industry.
Yeah, no, just a little bit, because they're saying with like Alzheimer's and stuff is a build of plaque in the spinal cord, with all like the CNS, the central nervous system. So unintended consequences, saying that, there'd be some buildup of some, intracranial pressure,
Yeah.
due to this increased electrical activity. So, the brain, I don't know. There's already, I don't understand. And that was a question that I was always thinking about, like, how are they going to do this? Cause like, there's already, the brain and the body and stuff, right? There's not a lot of room, left over. So how are they going to like fix this into like the normal chemistry of the body and not make it be a problem?
Correct.
But Elon says that it's basically they've accounted for this. They've accounted for like the heat, and so they put whatever dampeners in there, so they don't think there's going to be any, like, I guess, inflammation or whatever it would be, like this the plaque buildup, that would make overheating. And they're saying that like this is not like this the Neuralink is not taking over the processes of the brain necessarily that's already being done. It's like it's a heightened thing. So it would only activate maybe, I guess, when you need it for a certain app or something. And it'd be turned off all the other times. So like it'd just be, I don't know, I guess it's like the equivalent of when you're exercising and your body temperature goes up as you exercise, but then it cools off. Maybe they're accounting for this in like, they were using pigs, right? So maybe they should have like pigs run around with this Neuralink in there, and then see how it can handle like stress in the body, the body's core temperature rising up, and like deal with the blood pressure and stuff.
But is this going to cause any electrical interference in our brain?
Well, and that's the thing. I'm not a neuroscientist, so I'm not really sure. We're just kind of like listening to the cynics, these and it's theoretical physicists, and neuroscientists, who are just shouting that there's some concerns, and it's always good to have third party people looking at a product, because science should have as many eyes on it as possible. Can't just take somebody at its word that's not going to do damage. And I don't know, I guess just like some concern, just like some brainstorming, like how are they gonna solve this problem?
Interesting. I wonder.
I'm not sure it's going to be a problem. It's from the onset, it does sound like it'd be a problem. It does sound like,
that's my question.
A high hurdle for them to conquer.
Is there going to also too, my question too, is there going to be any kind of, what is it going to take battery, or is it going to just use our electrical neurons in our brain just to leave it on? How is it going to turn off and on? Yeah. See, those are questions that needs to be answered. Like Elon Musk, if you're watching this video, those are the questions that we need to learn a little bit more on.
Yeah.
Because if you're having a battery in your brain, dude, what happens if it's going to explode? Acid is going to get all over.
Yeah, like we've known, like whatever battery they use, it has to be like the cutting edge, the world's best batteries, because we saw like what happened with the Samsung phones blowing up. It's like they decided to go with a less, stable manufacturer for their phone for that generation. And,
a topic that's off the charts, bro. Like, how we have solar radiation coming from the sun every so often to wipe out technology and stuff like that. What's going to happen if that happens and wipes out technology? Is that going to fry that chip and cause damage to our brain too as well? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, like
because that's exposing
an EMP pulse, or some of the way, I can't remember what they're called, from the sun.
Because right now we're protected. Our brain is protected because there's no any kind of metal or any metallic thing into the brain. So is that going to cause a kind of a connection to pick up the I forgot what you said, EMP, right?
Well, like an EMP pulse. Yeah.
Is it going to pick up the EMP pulse and transmit it into your brain and fry it?
Well, that's what I think they should do. They should probably try to, like, I don't know if you can do that. Like maybe you have like a closed environment, if you make a small EMP pulse or something. And unfortunately, we always, like, they're using animals usually for this, right? If you gave a pulse and just tested on one pig and you fry the chip and you see what happens to the pig after they've been fried, after that chip's been fried, does it, you know, did it do any damage while you have to like take it out? You know, like, or you just take it out and there's no long-term damage.
Yeah, see, that's the question I thought of just right now, because I've been watching a lot of EMPs and stuff like that about what could happen with technology out there because of space. And
Well, it's like, yeah,
one of the things.
If the next world war used EMPs, and Elon Musk has talked about like the next world war, you know, it's like, would the next world war happen before or after this has been like widely adapted? This technology. And again, this technology might just be like the Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like no matter how many decades pass, people still like can't afford a Porsche.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like this might be something
Definitely.
that technology that like the common person won't see for like 200, 300 years or something.
That's very interesting, man.
You know?
Very interesting.
So
we are moving to our Q&A session once again. So do we have any more questions or anything, Joe? Any letters?
well, yeah, we have this one comment. We have this one comment. Jack is saying that he'd be like the first one to sign up for this. He doesn't mind. Yeah, he doesn't mind the possibility. He wants to be like a cyborg, you know.
God, dad, cyborg, dude.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I've been dreaming about it forever, and he wanted to jump into that technology.
Man, good luck, and I'm gonna come back to us in the future when this happens, and maybe we'll still be doing our podcast and we'll still be around, and you could maybe come live on here and talk to us more about this.
Yeah, wondering if you do you get your blood pressure checked regularly? You gotta be like, if you're gonna like get it this like cyborg technology, you need to like see your doctors like every year. You can't miss those appointments.
Let us know on your progress, man. Let us know on that, because that's kind of interesting. You can maybe come out here and every so often come out and talk for us on this Neuralink tech. We would love to hear more about that. So
the early adopters.
Is there any other questions, Joe? Because I don't have anything. I thought I was gonna get one in, but I haven't got anything in, man. My feed's empty, man. I guess you're the one everybody's hitting you up for some apparent reason today.
Yeah. No, I don't have any more. So we'll go on to the next one if you don't mind. We'll
man, the
Windows feature pack.
So what is on this one? It says like another experience pack. What's inside this one? I was like,
well, it was kind of odd because people were questioned. They actually asked Microsoft, what is the Windows experience pack? And we don't really know like the full extent of like what it's going to be for the future. They have basically it's like putting some of the apps that we already have seen like in more like kind of like a condensed like area. But I was suspicious that maybe they were going to like make you pay extra for like snipping tool. You know, like snipping tool right now, like I think you would have it too, right? If you type in your search bar and you look for snipping tool. Like I'm just wondering if they're trying to make it so that you have to pay more for a lot of these apps that they've been developing over the years, and they just haven't had time to like announce that yet.
I think what they're gonna add is more features to the snipping tool. Yeah, I think they could have actually added a lot more to it.
Is it so that you're thinking more positively, like that it's something you have to voluntarily go search for because they don't want to like Windows, or like Microsoft Windows already has like a burden compared to Apple OS, and they're like, oh, we don't want to make even more stuff that could slow down Windows. But if you know how to like get rid of all that other stuff and you want to then take on this extra features that won't slow down Windows, go for it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, maybe something like that. I'm not sure, you know.
Could be, man. Could be.
But just a lot of speculation, you know, because Microsoft just put like no comment, you know. So they basically let us all like brainstorm and just like come up with their own theories.
Yeah, right now, October 2020 update. There is no indications for it in the store yet.
Yeah, it's called the Windows Feature Experience Pack 120.2212.31.0. So
You're gonna keep going. You go 1 2 5 9 2 2
Yeah,
2
right.
exclamation mark upside down 1 and
No, it's anybody, you know, like if anything, you see anything weird in your system, you want to know exactly what it is. Some people look this stuff up and they're like, oh no, I'm gonna roll back my operating system to an earlier version because I don't really know what this is. And
I do
I'm
that
not
all
that
the
kind of
time.
person who really cares about my privacy, but some people do.
I revert back or I just wipe because what I did on mine, I actually create an image off of it
Yeah.
and then I restore back to that image.
Yeah.
And I don't, if I had an update, I'll just go back in there and do all the updates. I really don't care because I already was up to date. I was already up to date. So I'm like, I really don't need to worry about it. Now, if it's been like a year or two, I'll go ahead and update my image back to revert it and then update all the apps and then do it again. That's what I do. I don't really roll back anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So I'm not that person who really cares, but other people, you know, they really don't like updates that don't do what they want them to do. So
yeah. So
I just figure out how to like troubleshoot stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's broken for a month or something.
yeah, definitely.
I'll go use something else. Unless
Definitely,
it was something really critical.
So that's pretty much going to wrap up the podcast, guys. Was there any other questions? Was there any more things that you got, Joe? Because it seems like I said, I didn't get anything today, unfortunately. Any other questions?
Yeah. Well, just one from Jackie L. She asked, what technology are you looking forward to this Christmas season?
Oh man, I don't know what I'm expecting.
Well, like what would you, I guess, what would you want to, you know, buy if you had, if money was no object?
PS5.
PS5.
I saw the PS5 yesterday when I took them to the store to go get it.
Yeah.
I was like, I want it.
I would probably buy like one of the 4K OLEDs, like just a big screen.
Oh man.
You know, that's just and I actually, you know, if I had to like say like for this Christmas, I wish that like more of my favorite TV channels would be in like all in 1080p or 1440p instead. Like a lot of them are still back at like 360 or 720, you know. And it's kind of hard, like when you grow up on the PC now and to be in like 4K, to have to watch these programs still being broadcast on really low resolution.
Yeah, definitely, man.
It's like my dream. That'd be like my Christmas like surprise. But otherwise, it'd be like a big screen TV.
Yeah. Well, I think that's everything, Joe. Well,
yep. So
hopefully y'all have a good weekend, and we'll see you next weekend on my channel. Was there anything else you want to throw out there, Joe?
No, you know, just if you want to enter our giveaway, we're still doing the giveaway. I believe it's $35 this month. And yeah, it's free to enter. And you can just go to I usually promote it on my Facebook channel. But sometimes we put it in the YouTube videos, or you see it on Twitter or somewhere. And yeah, so you have a chance to win $35, and the next month is $40. So just a fun thing to do. Something to look forward to.
Yep.
And yeah, so otherwise, guys, we'll see you next week, and be nice to yourselves.
Peace. So, see ya.